What's up, everybody in YouTube land? Hey, this is another live. This is Monday afternoon, and we are coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Where else would we be, right? No, but thank you guys for joining. We are talking about some cool stuff today. The Phoenix housing market. What is going on with that in terms of the amount of buyers that are out there? Are they waiting? Are they ready? What's going to happen there? I think what people don't realize is there is some pent up demand, and so we're going to talk about that pent up demand today. Because what happens if that pent up demand actually gets off the fence? That'll be interesting. And how much of pent up demand is there to begin with? Well, we're going to cover that today for sure, and we're going to talk about the number one city in America when it comes to retiring. What city is that? Well, spoiler alert, it is a Phoenix suburb city that is going to be the number one city right now to retire in. Guys, I have a new microphone today, and so hopefully it's sounding good. Makes my voice sound better than normal. That would be great. That's why I got it today here. So hopefully it works out well. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Let us know what you think about where you're watching from. Any city, state, any comments you have. Let's make this a two-way street because we're going to dive in deep on the Phoenix market as well as the national home buying market. We are in an election year, and election years can be interesting. Now, traditionally, election years, things stay about the same. It's usually fairly flat overall. What you see at the beginning of the year is somewhat indicative of what you're going to see by the end of the year, or the election, I should say, with some, obviously, a little bit of bumps in the road along the way throughout the year. But it's still a fairly flat year. So what's going to happen with that? And then what happens right after the election? Do you think something will happen before the election? We're going to discuss that today. And then we're going to go over some development and some restaurants. There's some interesting things happening in Phoenix. And of course, we're going to talk about some of the development and the employers coming here because, guys, again, Phoenix continues to attract these large companies, divisions of large companies, creating more high-paying jobs in especially the tech industry and sector. So we're going to dive into that, guys. Let's jump right in, okay? It's Monday. It's the best day of the week. Why? Because the week is full of opportunities. It's full of opportunities, right? It's a great week. Here we go. We're going to jump in. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Abby had a guess. Sun City. I thought somebody was going to guess that, but it's not Sun City, actually, or Sun City West. It's neither one of them. My best guess for city to retire. Yeah. No, that's a good guess because there are a lot of retirees. In fact, you have more golf carts in Sun City than you do in cars, right? I mean, you have more golf carts and cars, so that tells you something right there. So that is a good place to retire, but it's not the number one city per the report that we're going to share here today. So let's jump in and let's talk about this article from Newsweek right here. The title is "Housing Market Could Get 4 Million New Potential Buyers This Year." What? 4 million new buyers? What's that all about? Okay, well, let's talk about it. The U.S. housing market could gain 4 million new buyers this year if mortgage rates fall 1 percentage point. This data is from the National Association of Home Builders. And guys, they track a lot of different stuff. Now, there's also another company called Mortgage MBS Highway. It's called MBS Highway. Barry Habib runs this. And you heard me talk about him before in the show today, but he says the same thing. Matter of fact, his data is based upon new home starts, permits pulled, mortgage applications, seasonality adjustments, the whole 9 yards. And what he has come to the conclusion is that it will not be 4 million. His number is 5 million buyers. For every 1 percentage point the 30-year fixed mortgage moves, there'll be 5 million buyers ready to jump off the fence now and jump into the marketplace. Now, the NSAB is saying 4 million. Actually, if you read the article further, they're saying 4.5 million buyers are sitting on the fence ready to jump into the market if the Fed decides to drop this the rates and the 30-year drops down by a percentage point. So let's riddle me this, okay? We have an election year. Now, typically in election years, you can't blame whoever is in office for wanting to stay there, I guess, right? If they have the ability to stay there. And so what could happen potentially if this data is true and there's 4 to 5 million buyers on the fence ready to jump in? What could happen in terms of the lever being pulled if if they do want to actually continue to have the economy be as good as it possibly can. Well, obviously, if you pull that lever and you bring down the rates a little bit and you have 4 to 5 million people nationally ready to jump in and buy, I mean, guys, the chances are probably pretty strong that you're going to see, instead of a 7.32% rate as of today, you're going to see a 6.32% on the 30-year fixed as of today. At some point later this year. So that would be an educated guess. If you're betting odds, you'd probably take those odds and make that gamble if you had a choice between one or the other. So we'll see what happens here, guys. But that's the situation that we're looking at, and we're monitoring every single day, every single week, every single month here on Everything Phoenix and our YouTube channel. So let's dive back in to this article because it is interesting. Now, here is what it says. While 27.5 million households can afford the median price new home at a 7.25% mortgage rate, NAHB said that an extra 4.5 million would be able to afford buying a home if the rate dropped to 6.25%. That would mean 32 million households would be able to afford a home in that situation. Guys, 32 million more households, guys. Not more, I'm sorry, total. But that's the 4.5 million people. That is bananas. Housing experts are hopeful that Americans could see a 6.25% 30-year rate on the mortgage by the end of the year, but it depends on how the Federal Reserve acts to contain inflation over the following months. So this is a big problem. Inflation is a problem, and it has not gone down like people think it was going to go down. So here we have this situation based on today's median home prices and interest rates. Americans are facing a shortage of roughly 1.5 million housing units. Now, this dynamic is a huge drag on the economy, the home building industry, the real estate field, and various sectors of the economy that feed off the housing market. Guys, this is simple math, right? Supply and demand. They work in balance with each other, right? And when they are in balance, the housing market is grand. Why? Because nobody has a leg up on each other, and therefore it's equal. When it's equal, you should have prices that are very stable and possibly appreciating a little bit, 1%, 2%, 3% a year, something like that. And it's a true long-term play. Everything's hunky-dory, and you probably aren't going to experience a big crash anytime soon because it's equal and it's not going up 20% in 1 year and therefore crashing or going down 10, 15% in 3 years later, or whatever it may be, right? The cyclical nature of the market. We like the kiddie roller coaster at the Six Flags, not the thrill ride when it comes to the housing market and interest rates. But that's what we've been getting in many markets across America over the past several years. So supply, demand. Do we have an oversupply, undersupply? Where are we at? Well, clearly, according to the study, we have an undersupply of 1.5 million housing units across America. And in Arizona, we have a huge undersupply as well. This is the problem. This is why prices have gone up 7.3% year over year in Phoenix alone. 7.3% when the rates have been plus 7% on the 30-year fix. That is interesting, right? Because supply and demand will always trump your feelings. Supply and demand will always trump your emotions. It will always be able to take that out of the equation and just be able to allow you and us to focus on the data alone. All right. So now let's go back to our article because it's a good article, guys. And we're going to do another one here in just a second. But a recent study found that only 20% of Americans said it was a good time to buy a home. That's interesting. And that's not good. If you had a stronger consumer sentiment, you would have more demand. Okay, even with the supply. Still, some housing markets that have experienced skyrocketing home prices are starting to see a drop in buyer demand. Florida saw its median sales price shoot up to $404 in January, an increase of 4.5%. However, sales were down in a number of cities like Jacksonville and Miami, taking Florida as the example. All right, now let's go over here to this article, which is going from ABC News. Okay, home prices are soaring. Is this another bubble? Is it? What do you guys think? Silence. What do you think? All right, here we go. Roughly 15 years after a housing bubble triggered the worst U.S. financial disaster since the Great Depression, otherwise known as the Great Recession. Home prices are soaring despite high mortgage rates. That, in theory, should crimp demand and push down prices, but it's not happening, okay? Why? Supply demand. You guessed it. Okay, so here we go. The price increases have been quite remarkable, but there aren't abnormal factors driving them, said the chief economist of the NAR. And we all know the situation. Now, this is the graph I want to show you guys. This is interesting. Home prices are soaring. For 9 consecutive months, the median price of existing homes have increased on a year-over-year basis. Look at the graph, guys. So check that out. And that's nationally. Now, there are some markets that are not having the population influx like Phoenix, like Tampa, Florida, like Orlando, like Austin, Texas. Okay? They're not. Nashville, Tennessee. There's some places that are not having that kind of population influx, not even close, actually, like Phoenix is, and Vegas, and Austin, these places we just talked about. But prices nationally are still going up. Guys, again, because I know we all want to sit there and think that it's going to come crashing down, guys. And listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, it will at some point. It will, guys. Believe me, I am not somebody that's telling you this is all rosy, and because I am in the real estate game and been doing so for 19 years, I just want to sell houses, and it doesn't matter what's going to happen here in 6 months. It does matter, and we want to advise every single client specifically, but I can tell you right now that the data is showing that in 2024, prices aren't coming down as of today. Now, obviously, who knows what can happen on the world stage tomorrow, but today, there's no black swan event. There's nothing on the horizon that states prices will be coming down at all in 2024, especially in Phoenix. Now, when you take the job economy, the local economy here in Phoenix, and you talk about the jobs that are being created, and you talk about the companies that are coming here, you talk about the lack of supply of new home construction, you talk about all these things that make Phoenix what it is, and the supply demand being imbalanced, where most of the suburbs in the Phoenix area are actually in a seller's market by data definition. And there's nothing on the horizon that would explain that to be true. You take that in consideration to the national stage, in which there's a presidential election later on this year, and nobody wants to rock the boat too much, right? Because of that, you're looking at a market today, this year in 2024, that if you're betting odds, you're going to bet on the fact that prices are not going to go down. In fact, they are going to go up. To what extent? Who knows? But they are going to go up. And if so, does that make now a good time to buy or not? I can tell you right now, guys, you want to zig when everyone else is zagging, if at all possible, in anything that has to do with money in life, investments, etc. Not that your single family house should be an investment. It is a big asset. But if you can get in at a time where everyone else is trying to zag, because everyone else's emotions are feeling like this prices should crash, this home market is overbought, prices should come down, they're going to come down. And again, no argument there. They're going to come down at some point. But in the short term, meaning 2024, there's no data to suggest that. So if that's the case, and yet everyone else is thinking that, is there a lot of demand? Are there multiple offers on properties right now across Phoenix? No. The answer is no. There isn't. So even though rates are at 7% today, do you still have an opportunity to get the best terms on a property you're going to buy and not have any competition? The answer is yes. And all I know, after especially going through 2021 and 2022, when you saw everything, almost everything having multiple offers on it, and people having to bid, scratch, claw to get the house they want, to be able to not have to do that, and maybe you don't get a ton off the price, but you get your terms, and maybe you get a seller to pay for a rate buy down for 3 years, 2 years, or 1 year. And that allows you to have a much more affordable mortgage payment until hopefully rates do actually come down. And then hopefully at that point, you have the financial wherewithal to refinance into a longer 30-year fix, 28-year fix at that point, right? Because you don't want to reset the clock. That's a whole other conversation, no. You don't want to reset the clock, guy. That's the worst thing you can do financially for yourself is reset the clock, okay? So get it. And you can refinance on less than a 20-year or a 30-year fixed mortgage. Okay, you can do that. That's little known, but you can do that. All right. Tim, what's going on? Right now is the best time to buy. There's an increase of seller concessions, and a buyer can still refinance to a lower rate if and when the rates come down. Oh, Tim, thank you very much. That is so true. I think it's good to hear from someone else besides me. I've been on this bandwagon for a while, but again, I've learned over 19 years to take my emotions out of it and just focus on the data. And eventually the data will lead you there, especially the Cromford report, which we're going to hit on in just a second, because the Cromford report is not lagging data like the Case-Shiller index and these other indexes in the housing market, okay? This is almost real-time data coming from the Cromford report that is able to then track what's going to happen as most effectively as possible the next move the housing market's going to make. Okay. But thank you, Tim, for saying that. I totally agree. And we would love to help, guys. If we can help in any way, text us, call us 480-660-5974. And we'd love to help. Okay. 480-660-5974. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Let's jump back over here to the Cronfer report as promised. Okay. Active inventory. We talked about supply demand being off, and we need more supply. Now, there is a several months of supply on the market. But in terms of the grand scheme of things, because demand is down, we still need more supply. We are short on that. So you look at supply right now, you look at 2024 and you go, that's not bad compared to the last 3 years. Look at, we're at this teal color and we have 21,000, including homes that are under contract. Now, UCB and CCBS mean there are homes that are under contract. So if I go back here, I'm going to pull this, okay? How about this? Active listings. And we're going to go, nope, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go active listings, okay? And I'm going to do some real time with you guys here, okay? And we're going to go all areas, excluding on the weekly chart. Let's see what this pulls, guys. Okay? Let's see what this pulls, because this one's going to be any homes that are not under contract. We just want the homes that are truly on the market, not selling right now. Okay, now we're down from 21 to 17.7. Okay? Well, this is kind of high, Kelly, based upon these years. Yeah, and you're right, because those last several years were not normal. They were not normal, guys. Check it out. Post-COVID. Now, let's go 2018. Okay. 2017. Yep. 2016 and 2015. Okay. Now, these 4 years represent a normal market for the most part, guys. I don't think anyone would agree that 2017 was a bad market. No, it wasn't a phenomenal market, but prices were going up and it was not a bad market. Rates were low, relatively speaking, compared to today. And it was not a bad market. So you can see right now, we're the teal color right here. We are under what was 17, 15, and 16. And those were more normal markets. So we need to get back up to here to help just kind of calm down all the price increase, get to that balanced market, have demand increase a little bit, raise rate or drop rates just a little bit. Okay. I'm concerned, guys. Here's the thing. I'm concerned that the Federal Reserve is going to not do this correctly. And I don't know why I would think that, right? I mean, but I'm concerned they won't, because here's the thing. They usually are a day late and a dollar short going up and down both ways, okay? So I'm hoping that they just bring it down a little bit, get people to jump off the fence a little bit, not 5 million, and then have some positive economic data, and then have builders continue to build. And then hopefully this thing slowly comes back together, okay? And now we don't have this big swing up or down. That's the idea, all right? That's the idea. So let's go back to the Cronfer report. Let's talk about the supply and demand when it comes to the Cronfer Market Index for the local area of Phoenix and all the suburbs. Here we go. You can see Chandler still is running away with the show. I mean, it's unbelievable. They go up, they're up 1%. They go up every single week, it feels like, on the CMI. And remember, if it's above 110, it is a seller's market. The top 11 suburbs in Phoenix are in seller's markets by data definition, not our emotions, not our feelings. Okay. And there are two, Surprise and Goodyear, are balanced. And you have Cave Creek, Queen Creek, Maricopa, and Buckeye that are all buyers markets and have been so for a little bit of time. Queen Creek's an interesting one. I'm sorry, Cave Creek is then an interesting one because typically the price points are higher, but they are actually showing an oversupply of homes. Okay. Not a bad time if you want to get to Cave Creek and maybe buy a larger property with some views and a big lot, some land. Like those are the urban cowboys out there, baby. I love Cave Creek. And if I was a little more of an urban cowboy, I'd go out there too. So not a bad idea. Now, if I go back to, let's switch gears to the Phoenix Business Journal. Here we go. Mesa, just right out of the gate, going to give it to you guys. Mesa, Arizona, guys, which right here, by the way, is number 6 at a 159. They are a seller's market. But Mesa leads the nation for influx of new retirement age residences. Who would have thought Mesa? I would have thought Sun City, like Abby said, or maybe Sun Lakes, but no, Mesa does. A report from Smart Asset found that Mesa's senior population grew by a net amount of 4,453 people, more than 50% more than any other city. Wow, that is crazy. And the age demographic counted all movers age 60 or older who came from cities from out of state. More than 180 cities in all 50 states were considered, and Mesa is number 1. Now, after Mesa, it kind of goes down for Phoenix area cities. In fact, Scottsdale is number 2, but check it out, guys. Scottsdale was the only other Arizona city among the top 20 for net retiring influx, with being ranked at 809 across America. Peoria was number 21. I'm sorry. Yeah, with number 21 with 748. Tucson was 26, and that's not ranking 809. I'm sorry for Scottsdale. You're ranked number 20. Okay, my bad. And then Gilbert number 50. So you have Mesa, Scottsdale, Peoria, Tucson, and Gilbert. But check it out state-wise. After Florida and Arizona, because Arizona was number 2 state for all 50 states, Smart Asset found that South Carolina, Texas, and North Carolina rounded out the top 5 states for attracting retirees. Guys, why? People are looking right here for places with a cost of living that is not high, and a low tax environment and a warm winter. Because the places with just the opposite, the high cost of living, the high taxes, and the cold winters, for example, could influence retirees to move to a warmer location where they can stretch their retirement savings further and enjoy their free time. So there's a recipe. If you want more population, you should, as a local government, low taxes, warm winters, can't really change that one, and a lower cost of living. The second city was San Antonio, Texas, Henderson, Nevada, outside of Las Vegas, St. Petersburg, Florida, and number 5, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Guys, I can guarantee you Murfreesboro is on there because of low cost of living. Out of the 20 cities, 16 were in the southern half of the U.S. where conditions may be more favorable for retirees. Okay, there you go. That was interesting. Now let's jump over here because we have some more good stuff coming. Here we go. All right. Understanding the surge, how the valley's rush to build will play out for real estate tenants. Okay. Now, this is an interesting market because what it talks about is this guy's opinion on the commercial side of things. Right now, there's a lot of development going on. In fact, Arizona, Phoenix. I'm pretty sure it's Phoenix. Yeah, the city was number 1 in the country for industrial space in 2023 for development of industrial space. All the Amazons of the world and whatnot who store things in warehouses. Phoenix was number 1. Number 2 was Dallas, and then number 3 was like not even close. Okay, so what they're talking about is how this play out with all of the development coming on. I mean, you have TSMC coming here. You have all the supply route chain across along the Loop 303 that's going to be built out big time. In fact, I'm going to share my screen. Let's go back to it real quick because we have a article that's also really good about this same topic. Several companies line up to bid on massive state land acreage around the TSMC campus. Okay, there is the picture from the distance. Okay, looking at the new warehouse and guys, or a facility, and it's not even remotely close to being done at this point. It is going to be huge, guys. $60 billion in that investment for North Phoenix. Okay, now there are 23 acres of prime state land next to this TSMC plant. Minimum bid is going to be at $56 million for this land, about $24,000 an acre. Wow. Okay, and there's 3 potential bidders, and they are big time companies, right? Out of New York City, you have a local-based company out of Tempe, and then another Phoenix-based Via West Group, and they have to put up all kinds of stuff, go through all these hoops to try to get the coveted land around the TSMC. And why is it coveted? For obvious reasons, guys, because if they control that land and develop it, they know the suppliers are going to follow. I mean, you have to have suppliers galore to give everything conveniently to TSMC, and TSMC will use you most likely if you make it convenient for them. This is not complicated, but it is expensive, and it's going to be very beneficial for the Phoenix local economy. I can't wait. This is going to be great. Okay. Now, this is interesting. This guy's opinion as well. Arizona should promote sensible housing affordability solutions, not political pandering. Well, there's a news flash. I would agree with that. I mean, who wouldn't? Forget the politics. Let's make housing more affordable somehow, some way, but let's not do it through stupid things that are going to waste taxpayer dollars. That's my only gripe with that kind of thing. So let's do some things that are sensible. Now, in this article, what he talks about is that one of the reasons why home prices are continuing to be so high is because there is too much money chasing too little home inventory. Well, that sounds actually very similar to the definition of inflation. Too much money chasing too little goods. Very, very similar. So, but the ironic part of this is if you own real estate, if you own an appreciating asset when the inflationary environment is high, you will actually make more money to your net worth statement because the value of your asset will go up. Okay. So again, our government, please just stop spending so much money and let it filter through the economy. And then inflation hopefully will come down, and then we can lower rates a little bit, and then monthly payments will continue to hopefully drop, right? And even though prices may not come down a lot right away, if monthly payments come down, it becomes more affordable. Just saying. All right, I'm going to share my screen and finish out a few more articles here, guys, because there's some good stuff here, guys. Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport starts a process to build a new terminal set to open in the late 2030s, not late 2023 or 24 or 25, late 2030s. What in the world? There's Sky Harbor. You can see the view there, but they are adding some significant projects because they know where Phoenix is going in the future, guys. And if this doesn't give you the insight that you need to know about if you should be bearish or bullish on the city of Phoenix in the future years to come, i.e. 2 decades, I don't know what will, because they wouldn't be spending the money on trying to expand the airport like this if they didn't think they're going to have the need for that type of traffic. So this is interesting here, but the mayor talks about, this whole project and get it announced, and Phoenix Sky Harbor is busier than ever, and blah, blah, blah. And so there are 2 terminals in 3 and 4, with the most recent terminal construction being at the airport since 1990. And then, of course, right now we have Terminal 2 as well. So there are 3 total terminals currently at Sky Harbor. And yes, that is correct. There is not a Terminal 1. There is not a Terminal 1. There's a kind of an interesting story behind that, but there's Terminal 2, 3, and 4. And hopefully they'll be adding these several new ones here in the future. Okay. Construction could start in 2032, and it's going to be bananas. So that is good stuff right there. All right. Now, let's go and let's talk food for a second, okay? Because the food scene in Arizona continues to get better and better and better, especially in the Phoenix area. Pedal House Brewery sets opening date for a long-planned Mesa location, guys. Who does not like a good beer garden? Exactly. That's what I thought. Nobody doesn't like that. Everyone loves that. And you can hang out and try some micro beer and all kinds of good stuff. And it's a good time to hang out with your friends on a nice Arizona warm day. And it's coming to Phoenix. Now, what's interesting is they actually have an article here that ranks the top breweries in Arizona. So let's pull this up, because you might be a brewery kind of guy. Maybe you're going to visit Arizona. Maybe you're going to move here. Maybe you already live in here and you want to know, where can I find the best micro brew? Well, that's subjective, obviously, but here are the largest ones in the state of Arizona. Santan Brewery, located in Chandler, Arizona, downtown Chandler, guys. If you have a chance to go there, you should check it out. Good stuff. Huss Brewing in Tempe. Mother Road Brewing, they have a phenomenal beer called Tower Station. That's in Flagstaff. Barrio Brewing, the shot beer. Dragoon, College Street, Grand Canyon, which is also good too. Wenhouse Brewing, Lumberyard, fantastic one. And Pedal House number 11, State 48. Shout out to my good friend Nick Reyna, who the family owns that company. They do a phenomenal job there. But yeah, the top 12 right there, and we'll just stop right there. But those are the ranking of breweries in Arizona if you want a good micro beer. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? We already discussed this. Everyone does. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, let's go to the next article, and we're almost done. We're going to wrap this edition of Everything Phoenix Live up. But guys, again, with micro brews comes a good barbecue, right? Check it out. 7 Arizona restaurants make Yelp's top 24, 2024, not top 24, top restaurants, guys. And where's it at? Let's cut to the chase. The Valley Eateries that grilled up fan favorite recipes include Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, guys. Number 3 in the country, apparently. So check out. I've never been to Eric's Family Barbecue. I really haven't. I'm going to go check that out because I love barbecue. In fact, I just smoked a brisket yesterday for Mother's Day. All right, the highest ranking Arizona eatery on the list. The other Valley eateries that crack the rankings include Little Miss Barbecue. I have been there. That is really good, in the Sunday Slope area, which is in Phoenix, number 20, and Caldwell County Barbecue in Gilbert, and Word of Mouth Grill in Tempe. Awesome. Lori, love me some Texas. Yes, me too. I do too. I mean, I love me some Arizona first because we're here, but Texas right behind there, okay? But that's some good stuff here. And then this might be my favorite restaurant name of all times. Holy Smokin' Butts Barbecue, number 64 in Tucson. I have not been to that either, but if I'm in Tucson, I'm going to go to Holy Smokin' Butts. All right, Dutch Bros. Guys, if you have not been to Dutch Bros, you've got to go to Dutch Bros. It is really good. It's a great experience. The people there are really cool, and they're fun-loving. They're going to ask you some wonky questions probably when you go. That's all right, because life is too short. You should have fun when you go get a cup of coffee, I think. So Dutch Bros prepares for ramping up hiring in the Arizona expansion, guys. They are getting bigger and bigger. in Arizona. And so you can see the little windmill and you got the whole concept, and you drive through and it's just a blast, right? Check it out. But Dutch Bros Coffee is blowing up in Arizona. Check them out if you get a chance. And 2 more articles real quick. Slim Chickens, not Slim Pickens, but Slim Chickens, which is it's a restaurant that's based out of, I think, San Antonio. Arkansas. Okay, is a fast casual restaurant chain, is set to open 3 locations across the state in coming months, and plans on hiring hundreds of people to work in their new stores. I've not been, but I'll go check it out because I love the name, Slim Chickens. All right, cool. Last but not least, guys, Snoop Dogg. If you were in the era of the 1990s or 2000s, whatever it was, right around there, Snoop Dogg is still very, very popular at many music fest circles, right? But he secures naming rights to the Arizona Bowl game, guys, if you like college football, like I do. There's the Arizona Bowl in Tucson every single year. It's a college bowl game. And the Arizona Bowl announced the new title sponsor with rapper Snoop Dogg and his alcoholic drink brand Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop on May 6th. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not that an alcoholic brand is sponsoring a bowl game, but nonetheless, I guess money talks, and Snoop Dogg is going to be the title sponsor for the Cactus Bowl it's usually late December every single year. Here it is, December 28th, following the announcement made on social media on May 6th. So I have a feeling that with college football players and even fans, that might be actually a pretty good appeal. And so they probably will sell a bunch of tickets. Will you go to the Arizona Bowl? And if Snoop Dogg is the sponsor, I don't know. It'll be interesting nonetheless, because they'll probably perform at halftime or something, right? There you go. All right, guys, that is our show for today. And I thank you as always for joining us here on Everything Live. Your time is precious. I know it. So thank you. It does not go unnoticed. So next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, as you know, keep it classy, Phoenix. See you then, guys.